Kevin, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. Same question I've asked all the coaches to start, general opening statement about the program and introduce us to the guys you brought with you today.
So Thomas Dale's Thomas Dale, like I said, we just keep rolling and building brick by brick. This is my 17th year as head coach coming up. 26 total in the program. And I couldn't be more excited about a group of kids that I have this year. There's no big superstar names. There's no Cole Linebergers, Chris Tyrees, Mike Davises. What we have is a group of individuals who have extremely, just worked together to get to a point where I have nothing but just leaders in this program. It's not very often that you get guys like Jeremiah Carey here, who was a basketball player as a freshman. Usually football players turn into basketball players, but this guy turned into a football player, filling into a captain's role this year. Very excited about his upcoming season. And then, Vinny sitting over here to our left. I've only had two guys in my program history that have been captain multiple years. Chris Tyree was a 3-year captain, and this guy sitting right here beside us is a 3-year captain. 3 years ago, I made a decision as a program to throw away all my rules. I thought our culture was dying a little bit, and we needed to revamp it. And Vinny and these guys, when you started asking questions, and they took it to their heart, and they came up with football standards, and I let those guys talk a little bit about their standards and what they built at Thomas Dale. And I wake up, I have fun going to practice every day, and it's exciting to see the growth and the team led by guys like these young men right here.
Coach, you had a heck of a defensive season last year. Going into this season, how does that defense look?
Again, it's Thomas Dale. We're going to be the dark zone. Our emphasis is going to be fast, aggressive. Coach Bruce actually has a new saying, the right line, play the echo, the whistle. And that's how we're going to do things at Thomas Dale. It's been like that. From my mentor, Rick Williams, has been Rockwell. And Coach Bruce has carried that motto on to a team. When you lose guys like Thomas Tucker and Cole Lineberger, Mike Davis, Shimon Roman, Dex Richardson, you don't replace those overnight. And again, the guys we've got coming back this year, I'm just as excited about. Xavier Brown, Chris Ward, Michael Bryant. Those are 3 guys that have stepped up and done great this offseason. But nothing happens without these 2 defensive captains right here. These are the guys who, if Coach Bruce had to be suspended for a week, we could still call our defense based on these 2 guys. They were students of the game. Vinny's heroics last year. That wasn't by accident. That's something that I think he plans for, prepares for. And like I said, when the moment came, he shined the brightest. So I'm excited about our defense again this year.
And Vinny, how did it feel to kind of go viral last year?
It felt great, but after that game, we got on a high and just fell off, and we needed to focus more on the next game and not be so worried about the win after.
Questions for the players. Losing the seniors from last year, what did you learn from them, and how do you plan on applying it to this year?
Well, the seniors from last year, they brought these standards on us more, and we're just going to keep building on them. And they showed us how a team should be aggressive and fast. And I just think that we're going to be better than ever be.
The biggest thing I got from last year is the players showing us how to lead. Like Mike Davis told on there, great people how to lead, and that was one issue.
Question for both players. Kevin said the words dark zone. I feel like a lot of people around the area recognize that when you talk about Thomas Dale defense. What are the conversations among y'all about upholding what has been an elite standard on that side of the ball?
In our dark zone defense, we have to be fast, aggressive, and round into the ball. If you look at our film, you're going to see at least 9 people at the ball every play. So that's just how we roll.
Me, I would just say just have fun. It's the big thing about defense, fun. Fun and fast.
Coach, I got a question for you. How you doing?
Go good.
How are you able to sustain, you're one of the most respected coaches in this area, how do you sustain the success that you do every year?
I think first and foremost, you have a buy-in from the community. Thomas Dale is still one of the old traditional community high schools. Even though we're continuing to grow, I talked to the principal the other day, we're almost 2,700 this year. We go into the community. We just had our youth camp this past Saturday and had over 100 kids show up. And our varsity players came out and worked with them, building those relationships up with those younger players, kind of setting the standard of what it means to be a Thomasdale football player. We have a motto at Thomasdale. We talk about play for those who came before. I played there. I got a guy out here in the audience. Coach Scott played there. People know what Thomasdale is. We talk about playing for those who are going to come after. Again, these are the guys leading the future generations of Knights, training them on what it's going to be like when they get up to the Friday Night Lights. And then we play for those who cannot. We talk about the guys like the Malcolm Pickles of the world, who unfortunately passed away before the senior season, and our guys are playing for those guys. So it's a buy-in as a community, playing for Marina Gray.
So Thomas